Welcome, everyone. This is the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel, and this live stream takes place every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it is titled Doctor's Orders. And essentially, it's just to give you guys a look behind the scenes of this great company, the owners, what they're doing, what they're planning, and even to get to know them on the personal side and maybe some useful tips and tricks for life, which we will kind of hopefully take an attempt at today. My name is Dancy Bearded. I am the co-host of this show. And the gentleman to my side over here is the doctor himself, Mr. Nick, Mr. Longbeard, Mr. Someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, you got a great beard, but it's not as good as his." Nick, how you doing?
The co-hostess with the mostesses. What's going on, everybody? Happy 4th of July. It is I'm glad you guys took some time out from your day off to come hang out with us for a little bit here and talk about stuff.
Heck yeah.
But,
and
yeah.
if you guys are new here, every week we have a topic, and usually it takes about half the time. The other time is just small talk, catching up, going over stories, hearing what you guys want to talk about. And then we generally have some time at the end of the stream for you guys to ask questions. And it goes in every direction you can imagine, from wrestling to music to traveling to parenting. Who knows? So if you guys have things that you're wondering about, let us know. We'll get some questions a little bit later. But to start, what are your plans for the 4th today? Are you guys going to fireworks show? Are you hanging with family? Are you grilling out? Are you working? What do you got going on today? Nick, what about you guys? You guys got any? I know. What are your plans today, Nick?
Oh man. Oh, we got, we kind of did like half of our 4th of July stuff over the weekend, and I guess another chunk of it, yesterday, here in our town in Marshfield. They do the residential fireworks on the 3rd. So you go out to the beach and everyone just sets up on the beach. There's houses way down on one side, houses on the other, and everyone just the two sides of that beach have just firework competitions between each other all night long. Like, there's this, I know one couple that lives down that way, and they said their neighbors typically spend between $8,000 and $12,000 on fireworks every 4th of July.
Ooh.
So it's like, I mean, it's going off nonstop, which is especially amusing in a state like Massachusetts where fireworks are illegal.
Right. The signs are everywhere.
The parking lot at the beach is full of cops, and everyone on the beach is shooting off fireworks. And the cops are just kind of like, "Yep, well, we haven't really seen anybody do anything wrong yet."
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. So it's illegal, but they just kind of turn an eye.
As long as you're not being stupid. Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly right. And it's like everyone goes down there to watch fireworks, and there's no professional fireworks display in that area at all on the 3rd. So they know what everyone's there to do, and everyone's respectful and they stay safe, except for this one guy that we were sitting next to that clearly bought his fireworks out of like the dollar bin or like the scratch and dent sale of fireworks, because he kept having some low detonations. And it was like, finally, I could see people eyeballing him, and finally, like, my buddy looked over at me, and like I see other people looking, and like I'm clearly the guy that's supposed to say something. So I was like, I kind of started off with a joke. I'm like, "Hey man, did you buy those things out of the bargain bin? Seems like they're not giving you the best of luck." And then the next one ground detonated, and it was like a little box of mortars, and like it shot one off, and then the rest of the box just exploded and started shooting fireworks at everybody. And so I was like, "All right, dude, recreational fireworks license revoked." I'm like, "You're done." And he's like, "I don't know what's wrong with these things." And I'm like, "Well, you can figure it out, like down that way,
Yeah.
or down that way, or back at home,
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay, yeah, you're probably right."
Yeah, one person can ruin the fun.
It was good. And then tonight, if weather permitting, it's like a rainy day today out here. It's like we got rain all afternoon. It's supposed to clear up by the time it's dark, but weather permitting, we're going to shoot down to Plymouth and watch fireworks down there. The town sets them off on a barge in the water.
So cool.
So we'll go do that. What about you guys, man? You guys do anything last night? You do anything tonight? I know you just got back from a long ass drive, so everyone's probably still recovering.
Yeah, no, nothing last night. We got back last evening, and then I had Command's Corner live stream, so we didn't really, it was unpack, get the kids in bed, and then boom, right into streaming. And then
Yep.
today, this morning was cleaning and grocery shopping and kind of getting everything ready. It's gonna be hot. We have a high of 89 in pure sun today, so it's gonna be
Woo.
hot, hot. It already is like silly hot out. I got stung today for the first time in I think like my adult life. I was getting
What
ready
gotcha?
to yeah, it was a wasp. I was getting ready to do the deck with a little power washing, and with the hose all wrapped up. Somehow, when we were gone for 8 days or whatever, a wasp nest formed and didn't realize it. And I just simply touched the thing and just boom, 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 and it just boom,
Oh.
just lit up my hand. I think they got me twice. And
Ugh.
so yeah, I was like, oh man, I think I just got stung, and I had not
Those
been
little
stung since I was a
bastards.
kid, and it burned for the most part, but it wasn't too bad. Sam's pretty allergic to stings, and so I'm glad it was me and not her. But it
Ugh.
was just yeah, I ran, probably looked a little bit ridiculous. I don't think we have any security footage. I'll see if I can pull that, but yeah, they got me pretty good. So
Dude, that's always hilarious what like a little insect can cause a grown ass man to do from a reaction standpoint. Like
for
my
sure.
first reaction is to always jump. I don't know why, but like I jump and I think maybe me being airborne is gonna remove me from danger, but it
Right,
never does.
right, right. Yeah, they
No,
can't jump. They
I
don't
just
know how to
look like an
fly.
idiot.
Yeah, for sure. So I just went to immediately slapping myself and then running and like trying to like fight them and get them off. And it was just all super quick. And then it was just kind of done. Then I came back in like on a mission, had my two can, double fist and
Oh yeah.
and just lit them up, lit them up.
Yep.
And so, yeah,
Get
and then
them.
there a couple were coming out. So I'm like, I got you in the air, got you in the air. So I took care of business.
Like Spider-Man with your wasp killer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's
And
awesome.
and Tim, no, we'll talk all about the trip in just a minute here, but we did not get a chance to go to Cane's Donuts, but we will be back and we will make sure we make that happen. But the plans today, we just have some family friends that are coming over for the fourth. A couple of moderators and their families and their kids. So we'll be grilling out. We'll set up like a slip and slide and a sprinkler and just kind of have a little bit of fun
There you
out
go.
in the yard in the shade.
Nice.
Yep, and that's
Nice,
about it.
man.
I'm sure we'll see some fireworks in the distance, but that's about it.
Nice. There you
Yeah,
go, dude.
nothing too crazy.
And you said fireworks are legal there now, right? They didn't used
Yeah.
to be.
Yep, Michigan, probably 10 years ago, I would say. Jason, if you, Jason or Garrett, remember, how long ago did Michigan make fireworks legal? But probably about 10 years ago, because we used to always have to go down to Ohio. And so the border would just be just littered with fireworks shops and stands and stations. And so now they have it legal here so anybody can do them. And they, like you're talking about with the big shows, some people go all out, man. And then I just can't imagine spending my money on something that's gone so quick. Like I just
Oh,
can't wrap my head around that.
I'll do a certain amount of it, but like I set a budget. You know, hey, look at that topic for today. You know, you gotta like you have your little discretionary budget there where it's like that kind of stuff.
Yep. So I was
2012, got
yep,
it. Yep.
10, 11 years. So yeah, about right. So yeah, I do distinctly remember having to go down to different states to buy them. And Chris says it sounds like Chris, I gotta meet you, man. You seem like a fun guy. But he says the states is New Hampshire, it's legal and everyone goes there to buy them.
Oh yeah, yep. It's like same as you were talking about in Ohio. As soon as you go over the border from Massachusetts to New Hampshire, there's like a Phantom fireworks. There's a Patriot fireworks. Like there's all like
Yeah.
the branded stores,
Yep.
and then there's like the random conglomerate like firework discount center.
Oh
Probably where
yeah.
this guy last night bought all his fireworks from out of the scratch and dent bin.
So it sounds like it's probably the law is more so about selling and buying them rather than actually using them. Is that
So
accurate?
oddly enough, no, you're not allowed to use them. You're not allowed to buy them, and bringing them across state lines is considered an illegal transport of contraband. So
Jeez.
like, yeah, but here's the thing. Phantom Fireworks sends you flyers in Massachusetts for their shop in New Hampshire, but then like they set up like these checkpoints this year and last year.
Oh, for
Dude,
fireworks?
yeah, they just had it on the news yesterday morning. These state troopers were sitting out there and they had like this rest stop. They had like 4 parking spaces filled with Phantom Fireworks that they had confiscated from people coming back over the border, and they said they issued tickets to everybody they
Please,
confiscated fireworks from.
you know how police stations will post like a huge drug bust and they'll like be
It
standing
was
in front of it?
literally like that.
Dude, I want to see the firework, like posing for like the big fireworks and
Yeah.
like the tough
There's like
look
a
and stuff.
badge
Yeah,
leaned up in front of them.
right.
You
40,
know,
40 pounds of explosives off the streets.
that's right.
Sleep better tonight, mass.
That's right. Your dogs will thank us.
and I will say I am kind of bah humbug with that stuff. I don't enjoy fireworks, and I have little kids, and I have had dogs in the past and stuff, so I know I know what that's like. So I get that, but that's like, I don't know, let people have fun. And I actually saw a crazy firework video today, and everyone's seen a million of them, but it was posted by, you'll have to help me with the company that makes the legs of the tables that you guys do.
Drake Casting?
Yes, Drake Casting. I'm almost positive posted a video on their Instagram today. It was a family in their front yard, and they went to light off fireworks, and it went south real quick.
Was it the one that had the pile of fireworks behind their car, and one of the fireworks shot over to the car?
And they
And then like
couple went early, and so the parent like took the baby away, and then it was like, wow.
Yeah, I love how like the fifth reaction out of that crowd was to grab the baby. It wasn't like the first reaction, second reaction.
Yeah.
Like, someone said, "Oh shit, the baby!" Like, and it was, and there it was, like all the, you know what I mean? Like it was quick.
Yeah,
but not quick enough.
Yeah, I just saw that video today. I'm like, oh man. And then you hear about obviously the hands and people like, no. I'm good. I'm not a fan of that.
Oh man. We done in Florida, we used to go down to this little part on the bridge. It's called like the Gandy, and it was like a causeway. And we used to call it the Redneck Riviera because that's exactly what it was. No other description for it. It was a great time. But people would go down there and it'd be pandemonium. And we made a mortar launcher that had like 16 mortar tubes in it. And it had like holes in the top of each one drilled so you can like fish the fuses through each tube into the next one and tape them together. And so we ignited that thing, and it's just 18 of them go off in a row. And I remember this couple walks by, and they're sitting there watching the smoke come out of this thing afterwards. And the lady like smacks the husband. She's like, "Well, why the hell didn't we get one of those?" And he looks back at her in all seriousness and says, "Baby, they don't sell that at the Walmart." And it was like, I was like, "Oh, we just got like the redneck salute right there." Like that was it, man. I loved it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you got the golden stamp of approval.
Dude, it literally was. Yeah, we like made all sorts of new friends.
Wow. Yeah, for sure. And Leo brings up a good point here, and he says he hasn't cared for fireworks since Vietnam. And I've heard this. There's a buddy of mine, Ralph, who works with soldiers that are going through PTSD and works on the phone line where they call with suicidal thoughts and these things. And he really adamantly like preaches like, hey, please think about the vets around you. Now, clearly I'm not a vet. I haven't experienced that, but it makes sense. And it is something where I'm like, oh yeah, I bet that this is a night that, and maybe it's someone like Leo Ray says he doesn't care for it, but I do know some people it can be really triggering, and I'm assuming they got to plan their night around trying to stay like in the basement or have some music on or something. So I could definitely see that and respect those challenges.
I could imagine that too. It's probably pretty rough for some people. You go one way or the other. You either get like completely desensitized to it, like Chris Wilson here, or it's one of those things that like literally just goes off in your head and rings and just stirs things up.
Right.
That's why it's good, I think, when people go somewhere where it's like that's where you go to do it. Like you go to the beach or something, and that's where everyone does it. So that way it's not like happening in everyone's backyard in a neighborhood. It's kind of cool to go somewhere and do it.
Agreed fully. And as long as we're talking about like the real high and loud ones, like if you're doing the little kid ones in your driveway, oh, go crazy. Have some fun. But the big pops, the big mortars. I do think it is something you should consciously think about veterans and pets, especially dogs too. I know that can be traumatic.
Oh yeah. You gotta use your brain. I think it's a good thing to go somewhere that's like a designated spot. That's a good way to do it.
Yep. So we will, we'll just be hanging out. Our kids go to bed pretty early. We get our kids up in bed around 7 o'clock, and Violet goes to bed right away. The boys will hang out for an hour or so, reading or watching something. So we just don't. We're just not at an age where they stay up late enough to really do anything. So we do kind of our fourth celebrations during the day, and yeah, just have a lot of fun with that one. And bottle rockets, bottle rockets are fun.
Oh
Bottle
yeah,
rockets are fun, and then the oh man, what are the ones that shoot the little
Roman candles.
yeah, Roman candles.
Yeah,
Those are
those are
fun
fun.
too.
We used to shoot the crap out of each other with those things.
Yeah.
I
So
remember one time
dangerous.
my buddy had a pocket full of bottle rockets that we were shooting at each other, and I hit him with a Roman candle, and it set off like 10 of the bottle rockets in his pocket. They're all facing down. So like running around trying to throw them all out. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We've had
Oh,
so many near misses as kids with stupid fireworks.
right, right. And
Nothing
Jill's
bad ever, but
Jill sums it up. I like sparklers. We'll leave the rest to the professionals. Yeah. Yep.
like
That is
me.
But, hey, Jim, shout out to Jim. He said he can't stay heading out the door. Watch the replay, man. It was awesome. Got to meet Jim at the meetup and just had a great time. Absolutely great time. And
That's awesome.
I think it's a good segue. Guys, we are going to talk about budgeting today. This was a topic that was sent in by you guys. Someone was like, hey, I would love to hear your take and Nick's take on budgeting. And that's why we want to do this show. Talk about what's going on with the company, talk about us and our lives, and just, everybody in the chat talk about their lives too. But we like to cover some random topics that you find interesting, you find helpful. So we will get to that in just a bit here. But we did have a trip where we spent the entire day, my family with Nick's family. Nick, start it off. Take it where you want to send that ship. Let it
Oh
sail.
man. It was a cool time, man. We had a good day. Like, it's like it's funny, whenever you have people come in, there's like all these things you want to do. You got to figure out what the heck you can actually fit into the day. So we ended up starting off, we met everyone over here at the office,
Yeah.
so
Where
we had
Maddox,
you guys.
my kids thought that's where you guys lived, by the way.
That was hilarious. It took me until we were sitting at lunch until I put that together. When you said it, I was like, they thought that was just a really big empty house.
Yeah, they were like,
with
are we
no
going to go back
couches.
to are we going to go back to their house? And they thought that was Jack's room.
No bed, no dresser.
Yeah. Nope.
It's like, man, these guys live really lean. Like, this is, yeah. Talk about budgeting. These guys don't have anything.
Right. Other than a very large, beautiful place. So yeah, we did. We met at the shop, at the lab, and got a tour of everything. Man, the place is huge. The place is beautiful. The wood shop is an experience. It's so cool.
Yeah, the wood shop was fun. The kids loved it down there too. Violet did. I don't even, the boys actually could care less. It was
Right.
Violet that was like, oh my God, I want to touch everything.
Yeah. And she was able to touch stuff. So she was in heaven down there, and the whole place. They would have spent the whole day there if they could have.
They literally would have. Yeah, it was hilarious. And
Mhm.
I think I can still hear, like, when the room is really quiet, I can still hear someone saying, "Hey, Nick."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Violet was a massive fan of Jill, as she says there, her new BFF. She always wanted to sit on Jill's lap at lunch, at dinner, anywhere we were going, and she was always poking Jill and asking her questions, and then constantly, wherever we were walking and going, Violet was like, "Hey Nick, and normally didn't have anything to say. She just wanted Nick's attention.
Yeah, she just wanted me to know that she wanted to know that I knew she was there.
Yes.
And that
Yep.
she had something to say just in case.
For sure. And as much as Violet can be a handful, this was a long, hot day with a lot going on, and she
She did
didn't.
great.
Yeah, she didn't nap at all. She did really well. Got a little bit cranky by the end of the night, but it was expected. I mean, that's a 3-year-old girl with a crazy day, and it was hot out and not napping and stuff. But she did really good. And
Oh, man.
also right away from the second they met, the boys were all like instant lifelong friends.
It was hilarious. It was like they met in the parking lot, and it was like, "What's up? What's up? What's up?" And then they were
Yep.
like, "Want to go do stuff?" Like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, and they were gone. We didn't even see them. We didn't know what they were doing. Once in a while, we'd hear a loud eruption that we'd later figure out was them nailing crazy cool trick shots with bottle flips.
Yeah, they were like filming themselves in some other part of the office, like doing bottle flips on desks, and like all of a sudden we'd hear like, "Ah!"
Yeah. And so and Jack is their son, and he is such an amazing kind of like elder statesman showing people around, so polite, so kind, and really, really welcoming to the boys. They had a great time, and
No,
they
that's
already
awesome,
added
man.
him on Roblox, and so that I think they're playing with him on there.
Yep. Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. Jack's all into that, man. Like it's hilarious. Like Jack was talking about it the rest of the weekend. He's like, so when are they going to come back out? When are we going out to Michigan?
So cool. Yep. So yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
spent time
awesome.
there. We got some pictures in the lab. We got some pictures around the shop, and then we went to lunch at a local Mexican place that was absolutely perfect. Like literally what we like in Mexican food. It was spot on perfect.
It
Spot
was
on
dead
perfect.
on. It was
Hmm.
like it's one of those places too. The reason I like that spot, it's for anyone in the area. It's Cancun's in Kingston. You know, it's like next to a Comfort Inn or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of
Right
those
on the
nice
exit.
middle of the road Mexican places. But the thing
Yep.
about it is it's super authentic, and they don't do anything that's like they don't do any interpretive Mexican food, which I think a
Yes.
lot of the places do around here, which
The
is like they
hipster
always
food.
try to
Yeah.
like dress it up with some modern twist. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes a chili relleno can just be a chili relleno. Like
Yes.
sometimes a taco can just be a taco.
Yes.
And it's like that's the places I like, man. Nice
It
and
was
yeah,
delicious.
perfect. It
Yep,
was
and
good.
we all smashed and everybody got down, which was good for a long day ahead. We had a good solid base, so that was
Yeah.
awesome.
We needed it, man, because and it was a weird day too, because like, you know, it was sunny here at the office. It's sunny when we were eating lunch, and then we get downtown to Plymouth to go check things out. And it was just like the ocean layer fog did not burn off that day. We got down there at like what, 2, 3 o'clock,
Yeah,
and it was you couldn't see, 500 feet out into the ocean. It was like all fogged out.
all day, and it was hot, and it's still, and then the sun was out too. Because I mean, when you got to the shade, it was much cooler, but when you were out in the sun, it was still hot, but you couldn't see. Like Nick's telling me about all these things. He's like, normally you'd see some land right here. Normally you'd see this. Normally you'd see this, and we just couldn't see.
No, and then till the end of the day, and then we went back
Right.
out on top of the hill and looked like over the Plymouth Rock Monument, and you
Yep.
could finally see like the jetty, and you could kind of see like Clark's Island and Saquesh and stuff.
Yeah, yep. And then Jack says, don't forget to subscribe to the Command Bros. And
That's
uh,
right. That's
that's
the one. That's the one other channel that I'll promote on my channel is your kid's channel. Like everyone
right.
should go right now and subscribe to Command Bros
Yes.
because
Yeah.
Dan's kids would get a kick out of it.
Yep. And it is their YouTube channel. And it just was fun. They ended up trying to have like a mission where they were trying to get people to subscribe to the Command Bros. And they were every waitress, everybody we went by. And then they had a mission of getting all the ships to it would it be it's a horn, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to toot their horn, and they would be like, hey, 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 and they were just literally on the same page all day, and they just had all these different little missions and things they were doing. It was so cool.
Hilarious, man. It was cracking me up all day.
Yep.
And
And
then
then
we
we
got to
went
go
to
to my buddy's restaurant for
yep.
dinner, and super cool spot. He makes everything by hand. The place is called Food Court in Plymouth, and my buddy's name is John, and he used to be the executive chef at another, super fancy 5-star restaurant in the area. And now he's just doing his own little, scratch kitchen thing, right? And so it's like everything is made from scratch. Every sauce you get, everything is all made there. Down to like when you go there for breakfast, he makes his English muffins from scratch. Like the
Yeah.
guy everything from scratch. And it was damn good dinner. Like that was
So
a
good.
good time.
Yeah, it was amazing. Sam and I got some chicken, but it had these like fingerling potatoes and asparagus, and it was just so good. It's
An
like a
awesome pan sauce.
yeah, a twist on flavors you haven't experienced until you had that. And so
Yeah.
just in a really cool, like beautiful spot, some really nice waitresses, and Violet's chatting them all up. And anywhere we go, Violet has to ask people their name and all these questions, and they were really good with her too.
Dude, it's hilarious. The waitresses were talking about her the next day. We went to their staff party
Oh yeah.
on Sunday. They had like their employee staff party at his house, and we went by for that. And they were like, "Okay, well, we're all subscribed. See, like we're good to go."
Yeah,
They
Vi
were
was
all like
loving.
confirming their subscription status.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Vi was loving on all the waitresses, going talking to them, offering them clay cookies and all these different things.
That was hilarious, man. Oh yeah, and Jill's like that ice cream though. He makes all of his own ice cream from scratch too. So he brought out like a flour. Go figure. He had a flourless chocolate cake on the night
Right.
you guys were there too. Gluten-free chocolate cake with peanut butter ice cream.
Mm. And there
And that
was like
peanut butter ice cream
crumbles
literally
and stuff.
tasted. Oh, it tasted like peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Yeah. It was so good. So good. There was, yeah, little, like, I don't know if they were like caramel crumbles or peanut butter crumbles and stuff on there. It was delicious. And the cake was amazing too. I think Sam, if we could only have one or the other, I think I would take the cake and Sam was going to take the ice cream.
Yeah, dude, it's good. Like it's one of those things where I took a bite of Jack's because that's about all I can eat of ice cream is a bite unless I'm like at home ready to go to bed because they'll put me out. Once in a while, John will make some ice cream though, and he's like, "I know you don't eat sugar. I don't care. Eat this." And like he'll
Yeah.
hand it over. He made a cream of corn ice cream once.
Whoa. Whoa. Hold up.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Cream of corn ice cream, and it was, and like he tells it to you, and you're like, "That sounds interesting. Let me know how that is." And then like he brings you some, and you're like, "Okay," and it's like it plays tricks on you. You don't want to like it because it doesn't sound like you want to like it, but
Right.
then you eat it, and it's like, "Holy crap, that's good."
Really?
Oh, it was. It was. I did not want to like it. Normally, I hear weird things, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll probably like that." And I heard this, I'm like, "There's no way." And I
Right.
tried it. I'm like, "Holy crap!" Okay, I'm proven wrong once again.
Okay. All right. Because I did like cream of corn when I was growing up. I just can't wrap my mind around it in any way, shape, or form in ice cream.
I know. And to preface everyone's question, no, there was no chunks of corn in it. It was
Okay. Yeah,
no actual chunks of corn.
right. Yeah, it's before or after. So
No,
that's
nope,
important.
nope,
Mhm. So,
nope.
yep, and it was just, yeah, it was an awesome day. We got to see Plymouth Rock. We got to see the oldest cemetery in the United States. We got to go hang out in the park. Some lady came up and was throwing the football around with all the kids for like at least a half hour. Like at least a half hour, and she
Dude,
was
I was
like,
telling Jill about that. It
yeah.
was literally
Oh,
the
Jill wasn't
weirdest.
there.
It was so bizarre. Like she just shows up and all of a sudden it's just like pulls out footballs out of her backpack and starts throwing them around with the boys. And she
Yeah.
comes over after. She's like, "Thanks for letting me play catch with the kids."
Yeah. She was probably, how old would you say? 30?
She was one of those tough ones because she had like some university hat on. So like
Yeah.
she could have been like a teacher at a university,
Right.
or she could have been like a graduate student, or she could have just been someone who kind of maybe looks a little over 30 in their early 20s. I don't really know. I
Yeah.
have a really hard time with that one.
And she was super normal looking, pretty. She
Yeah.
was athletic. She could throw the ball around, nice smile. Like she wasn't anything giving off like bad vibes. And she just for like a half an hour, and I mean, she was playing, she was running, throwing. All the kids were throwing, they're running around her. And it was interesting just because of how conditioned we are to not trust strangers, right? To not trust situations like that. But she
Yeah.
was nothing but kind, nothing but like fun with the kids, and was like really, really enjoying the time she had. And then just gave them high fives and left afterwards. It was kind of like almost like a hippie type feel. But it was,
Very much so.
it was the best way I could put it is it was Plymouth.
Yeah, and that's you meet all kinds down there, right? It's a melting
Yes.
pot. You get all walks of life,
Yep.
and it's like she's someone that you'd expect to see up in like Portland, Maine, or like
Yep.
Portland, Oregon, or like hanging out in San Francisco or something. You know what I mean? Like she was kind of a hippie type, and just wanted like literally like that would have been her story. Like her friends would have met her for lunch, and they'd have been like, "What'd you do today?" And she'd be like, "Nah, walked around, went to the park, found some kids, played football with them, came here."
Right. Right. And this is a good point by Jill. She says, for all you know, the woman has wanted kids her whole life. Maybe she can or just hasn't yet. She sounded very sweet.
She was
100%. But like I said, we're just conditioned not to trust those situations, right? We're just conditioned not to think safety around your strangers. But like we're standing right there. We're in a park. And so we were all like, hey, have some fun. And we talked to her afterwards and was really nice. So it was cool, man. It was just a really great day. So much fun. I
dude.
got super sweaty, but it
Oh
was
yeah,
fun.
yeah. It was weird because like when the fog was there and you're in the shade, it was like almost chilly, and then as soon as the sun hit and clouds broke, it was humid and hot. Like
Yeah, big
and
time.
yes, Chris W is right. Yes, that is a Pacifico because it's 1 o'clock on 4th of July, and
Woo!
it was time for a Pacifico. So I decided to hang out with you guys and have one.
There you go. Yep. There you go. And and Leo says, I'm 78, never yet guessed a woman's age longevity tip. Okay.
Good point, Leo.
Noted, Leo.
That's really that is the voice of experience and wisdom.
Yep. I don't turn down that kind of wisdom. So thank you.
And just so in case anybody's here that might be new, they're not here all the time. I see a couple of names that I don't normally see in here actually. Just so you know, Leo is like our collective father figure here, right? He keeps us honest, he fact checks us, he makes sure we're not going out over our skis too much, and he makes sure we're being realistic and that we're grounded. And we appreciate him for that. So any worldly advice you might need or things that are overly technical that I might not know, Leo is probably your guy.
And above all, just an
overall nice, awesome
good
dude.
person too. Yeah,
that's it. Solid guy.
Yeah. No doubt. So yeah, it was a great trip, man. We can't wait to do it again. I got to see some peregrine falcons, which are the fastest animal on planet Earth from point A to point B. So that was really cool. We saw 2 over by where Nick lives, and then we saw literally 1 when we were driving down the road, flew right over us. So that was a cool little random highlight for me.
Yeah, because right where you guys were there, you're right next to the bird sanctuary. Or the aviary sanctuary. Right.
Yep. Yeah, it was like birds of prey sanctuary, something like that. And so the peregrine falcon, man, it's beautiful. I was shocked at how big they were. Yeah, how big they were.
They are big. And you know what's weird though? You know what always seemed weird to me? That bird sanctuary is on the backside of an airport. Doesn't that seem a little weird?
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like maybe hazardous, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe not, but it's like literally on the approach or leaving that airport. Whenever you're in there, it goes right over that bird sanctuary. It's like all that's there. It's like protected airspace. You can't fly drones there. Well, maybe that does make sense then, because it's protected airspace for the airport. So then it's like protected airspace for the birds. Maybe, I don't know. Is there a bird expert in here? Is that a common thing?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, so Brad asked what kind of falcon. It's called a peregrine falcon, and it is the fastest animal in the world, and I forget the speed that it gets up to. It's crazy. I mean, obviously the cheetah is the fastest on land, but if you're trying to get from point A to point B, nothing is faster than this peregrine falcon. And they were huge, man. They were really, really big. We got pretty close to a nest, and they're an apex predator. They don't really have 240 miles per hour. Yeah, they think about that. Yeah, they don't have
insane, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's no, they don't have any predators. Like there's nothing that they really fear.
That is insane. That is so cool. Oh, and yes, this is your first stream that you're actually here live for. See, that's neat. We were actually wondering that before the stream. I was texting Dan, and I was like, I wonder if it's going to be more people, less people, or a same amount but different people. And we were kind of wondering, like, some people aren't ever able to join at 1 because they're at work. And then, some people are off today that normally aren't. Some people that are normally on here are probably out doing stuff and they can't join. So I imagine we are going to get a little different mix here today. That's awesome though, man. Welcome in.
Yeah, Mr. Foster and his wife are great and come into a lot of streams. And good question by Jason. He says, have you seen the videos where they match wind speed and they hover in the air? I have. It's pretty crazy.
That is freaking cool, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They just stop.
Right. And Dan B says Springfield is big for breeding here. They actually have a hockey team that used to be called the Falcons. Oh, cool. Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, my hawks and falcons and birds of prey are my favorite. We saw a bald eagle with a fish. We saw a golden eagle. We had a lot of really cool birds of prey on this trip, and we saw some beautiful loons. Not exactly a bird of prey, but still beautiful.
Oh, loons are cool though, man. And when you hear them at night, it's so crazy.
I love that sound so much. My parents have 2 loons, and that's the thing. A loon is one of those animals where they find a mate and they're with that mate for life. And if they find a body of water, if it's small enough, they kind of claim the water and it's theirs. No other loons are welcome to that water.
And they're super territorial too. Yep. You can hear them fighting about it at nighttime.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So crazy.
That's cool. Mr. PB says Hamilton, Ontario, Canada has a nest for peregrine falcons over 20 years, and they had a live stream of that nest. That's cool, man.
Oh, those are cool.
I like that.
Yeah, like
I
the
like that.
eagle nests and those things. Those are super duper cool.
Yeah. And so kind of just final thoughts on the trip, man. We loved it. We got to check out Portland, Maine, and we love learning new areas and different vibes and people. And then hanging out with Nick and Jill and Jack was just awesome, man. Jill is so kind, so unbelievably nice. Sam was obsessed with her afterwards, and it can't wait for the next trip and hope that you guys get to come out to Michigan sometime. And we want to go back and spend more time there to do stuff. So above all, it was
Heck
just
yeah.
really cool. It wasn't even like meeting. It was just kind of like good to see you again kind of thing. It's hard
Yeah.
to explain, but it was awesome.
It is. You know, we've worked together so long and like we were always talking anyway. And like we've
Yeah.
gotten so deep on so many topics over the
Yeah.
years. It was literally just like catching up. There wasn't any of like it wasn't like getting to know somebody for the first
No.
time. It's like we've known each other forever. We just haven't actually done it face to face in
Right.
person.
Right. Yeah. We talk pretty much every day. And so and we've talked personal stuff, business stuff, everything you can ever imagine. So it was just kind of like, go on. And exactly. Jill said, love Sam. We vibed instantly. My kind of lady. Exactly.
They literally did. It was like Jill walked in the shop. She got here a couple of minutes after they did, getting some stuff wrapped up at home. And she walked in, it was just big hugs, and it was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, it was boom, off to the races.
Yep. No, that would be cool. And Jason, yeah, if you ever come to Michigan, we'll put a really nice
Oh,
meetup together. I got a large circle of friends that are in the area that would love to meet you and see you. And so,
oh,
yeah,
that'd be
Jason would
awesome,
be first
man.
there.
Oh, I love that. I want to go up the some of those pictures that you were showing where you was like, it's hard to believe this is Michigan, and it's
Yeah.
got like those crazy like caves and rivers.
Oh yeah.
I want to go up there and like rent a paddle board and paddle around in those rivers and stuff, man. Like that looks super cool up
Oh,
there.
Michigan. So when you see Maine and you see the national park stuff, they're gorgeous. They're breathtaking. But the crazy thing is Michigan's just as beautiful. So we
That's so
see those
crazy. I
things.
never knew.
Oh man, the turquoise that we get up in like Pictured Rocks and Petoskey, Michigan, all this stuff. It is gorgeous, like
That's what I'm
absolutely
talking about.
gorgeous.
I want
So
to go
yeah,
check that out super bad. That looks really cool.
yep, that would be a lot of fun. So stay tuned, you guys, for maybe a future Michigan meetup, a future New England meetup. Yeah, for sure. I got to meet Chris and Tara behind True North. Great people. A lot of fun, and we hung out for several hours as well. So I just love meeting people, man. It's so fun.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's a good trip though. I'm glad you guys got to make it happen. Like awesome summer trip.
Oh
We're gonna
wow.
be
And
doing a road trip as well here at the end of the month. We're going down to Tennessee to see my mom, and so we're gonna drive down so we can bring our French bulldog with us, sir. So we're gonna be hitting the road, being down there for the week of the 24th or something like that. So we're gonna be in the Knoxville area. So
okay.
if anybody's down in the Knoxville area, we're perfectly happy to grab some lunch or meet up somewhere and do that kind of thing down there too.
Okay, cool. And look at this. Jeff lives in Texas, but he actually grew up in the town where Sam grew up in and where Sam graduated high school, which is just like next door. Like we share a border of towns. He said he'd fly home for the meetup. That'd be great.
Dude, okay. Yeah, we gotta make it happen. We got a bunch of I'm there, sign me up, I'll do it, let's go. So I see a lot of possibility there. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, yep, no doubt. All right, segue. We were
Mhm.
asked to talk about our thoughts and our approach on budgeting. Now, this is something that Nick and I haven't talked like very specifically about. We have had random situations and just kind of talks here. And Nick's thought was that we are different on this. And so we'll kind of find out today to hear our thought process on budgeting. And if you guys have any comments, if you have any thoughts responding to ours or bringing your own, such as Leo said for him, he said, if you really want to break it down, beard product budget can be near painless. Oil lasts him about 4 months. Butter, intermittent wash. He can use something like a baby shampoo. That's going to be an all natural, hopefully not mineral oil based. Can be an inexpensive and effective substitute. Absolutely, right. To start this off, just kind of in general, when we talk about being relative to this channel, this company, is you don't have to go crazy on beard products. You don't have to get every new launch. You don't have to try everything under the sun. If it's your thing and it's a hobby and that's what you enjoy, you don't do motorcycles, you don't do golf, you don't collect bourbon or cigars, all that stuff. Awesome. Go crazy. Have fun. Nobody should ever tell you that, hey, you don't use every beard oil, that's wait, not, hey, do your thing. But at the same time, you don't have to use the phrase, oh, beard products are so expensive. as Leo said, it can be nearly painless if you need it to be. So if you got comments, thoughts like that, awesome. We're just going to share our general approach to budgeting and just our thoughts. And Nick, how about you go ahead and get it started on just your take on budgeting?
Yeah, man. So, it's kind of funny. We've actually had a few people reach out about this, and I'm not sure what we've talked about that made people think that maybe we know something in this space, in this. But it's interesting. First of all, as we're going into it,
That
no,
Mike
see, that's the thing. That just means you're a recreational beard enthusiast. That's it's not.
Oh yeah, and Mike has a similarity, very personal, or very similar, a personality very similar to ours, where he's all in. He's an obsessive kind of guy. He went from like a crazy beautiful sneaker collection, which he still has most of them, and then has shifted into beard products. So that's his thing now. So there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's absolutely
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
there is nothing wrong with that. And so, it's kind of funny. So we've had people ask us about this. I've had people ask me about this in personal life too, just because it's something that I actually do talk about a bit. But what's interesting, what I would like to hear as we're getting this thing kicked off, is there is like one common difference in people, like in that will make this conversation either relevant or not, maybe to them kind of interested. Of the people here, is it you or your significant other that maintains the budget? Like, who keeps you guys on track? With you, it's you. It's right.
100% me.
You're the CFO of the family.
Yeah, there's 0% budgeting or any money logic on Sam's side of things. If we went with Sam's approach, like we do a lot, we travel a lot, we try to get the most. We believe that we only have our kids at this age once. There's some stat that by the time they're 18, you lose 90% of your time with your kids, and so we're getting it all in. But if it was up to Sam, we would do everything. We would be broke. We would have $0. And I got a different approach. So it is 100%. And if you were asked her, she would say, oh, it's 100% Dan on the budgeting and managing the money side of things.
Yeah. And so on our side, it's me, right? I'm the one that puts through all the payments for things and keeps track of how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, what we have available for certain things. But on the interesting side of it, I used to basically be like 100% just me in previous relationships, right? And with Jill, she participates in a very different way, and it's a supportive role kind of a thing, right? Where she knows where we're at with things as far as what we have available for different things that we're trying to do. And she works within those confines super duper well. So what I will say is, even though I'm the one that sets out the plan, I wouldn't be able to execute the plans without Jill following along with it as well as she does, right? I mean, she's like supportive. She gets behind what we're doing. She trusts what my decisions are as far as like what's available for what and what things come next and which things have to wait. And we're really good at kind of just checking in with each other and staying on track. But overall, what's really weird is I think people look at things in a couple of weird ways. I think they either think that they have to budget with like an app or a spreadsheet, and they have to have every nickel and dime tracked, everything perfectly categorized, or then not do it at all, right? They're like, I can't track a budget because I don't have time to categorize everything and put everything into these little buckets of money and budgets. And I guess, and then there's the other thing of it, the other side of it, where they just, some people don't do anything. And I think, and then there's one more piece that's kind of like a guiding principle to me. And then I'll kind of go through the system I guess I use, which is, I was just talking to my son about this last night, about how sometimes people see a big obstacle in front of them. And they're like, if they say they're in debt, they got themselves into some credit card debt or something. They're like, crap, I got 20 grand worth of credit card debt. They're like, well, I don't have 20 grand, so I can't pay it off. Like, you need to break things into manageable chunks, right? Like, just like you do with any other goal in life, you can't ever do a huge task all at once, right? You got to divide it up into accomplishable goals, and separate those things out and chunk away at things. Like, when you got $500, you pay that towards it. And then when you have 200, you pay that. And you have 1,000, you pay that. Next thing you know, the 20 grand is 5 grand, right? And you can chunk things away. But for me, overall, with budgeting, the way I've always done it, and this is why I said we're different, because the reason I say that is I actually think you're probably better at it than I am. And the reason I say that, I think, is because I very much go on percentage based buckets, right? So I say like, ideally, they say you shouldn't spend more than 25% of your income on your housing, for example, right? Like as long as you're 25% or under your income paying for your housing, you're considered pretty stable as it comes to like supporting yourself and having a place to live, right? Some people get themselves in trouble and they get a too big of a house or they get too big of an apartment. And then next thing you know, they're spending 60% of what they make on their rent and their utilities.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work, right? You
Right.
end up underwater with other stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So you need to, I think in your mind anyway, figure out like what percentage of things ultimately should go towards the, the foundational things that you need. And then, in my head, I kind of, I'm not a big saver, for example, right? I like to invest in things and I like to be able to see things that appreciate. And we're getting better at some things with saving. But what's interesting is I've kind of reinvested a lot of the things that would be savings into doing business ventures and to doing the things that I need to drive forward. So I can either choose to not do things that might mature into more, sustainable things later and support them, or I could save money in an account that might gain 1% a year. And is that a better use of the money, or is it better to use it for things that could turn it into more money,
Right.
And I'm at a stage in my life where I feel like if I maintain a good buffer, I have good cash flow, then I can divert that stuff that would normally be going into savings for things that hopefully are going to benefit me later on in life. But really, it's like keeping an eye on the percentage of things. Like, if you want to do, and there's a couple guiding principles to it. Like one, I don't like spending money I don't have. Like, I don't like doing that. Like, if I know money is coming in, I'm not one of those people that figures out how to spend it before I have it. Right. I don't like if I can pay for something out of money I have versus financing it. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. If there's a good 0% financing offer and I can make my money work harder for me in other places and take advantage of someone else floating a bill for 24 months, once in a while you take that, right? But it's a balancing act. You want to keep credit utilization down. You want to keep an eye on what percentage of your money you're spending on different stuff and figure out how to not spend money you don't have and make the money you have work better for you, I guess. It's kind of like those rules sort of influence everything I do across a budget. And therefore it's kind of fluid. It's kind of dynamic. It changes based on situations,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for me, and you said you thought that I would be better at it, and I'm not sure what the better at it would be. I am not like that at all. I have never tracked, and this is ever, guys. And I was at a point once when Maddox was really young, where we got down below $300 total to our name. There was no savings. There was no other than checking, which was under $300. We didn't have stocks. We didn't have anything. So I got low at one point. And that was essentially Sam decided to leave her job because of like childhood trauma growing up and wanted to raise the kids and stuff. So I've been to that point, and then I've been to a point where I'm doing fine. My approach is we've never once tracked anything. I could not tell you how much I spent last month. I could not tell you how much I spent last year. I couldn't tell you any kind of percentages whatsoever, but I can tell you a couple of things. I have a baseline of my checking that if it gets near or below, we just kind of close shop. And we just have a little sit down and I'm like, hey, babe, we're getting to that kind of like danger zone again. We need to cool out on the spending. Let's not be doing Amazon packages. We're not going to go out to eat. Let's not be just buying a ton of, because we like to buy things that matter to us, such as we don't ever try to restrict books with our kids. That was one big thing is if our kids, which I read the book that Jill got, two books that Jill got us last night for Violet, which was really cool. One was, I think, Goodnight Boston. That was really cute. And so we read that, but we don't restrict payments or spending on books. If our kids are interested in want to read and want to learn, we don't stop that. Now, Maddox is a freak reader, and a freak in a good way, where he just reads chapter books unbelievably fast and just so many of them. So it's become quite expensive, but we never say no to books. And so we just have these like random things where we have rules and where we don't have rules, but we hit that buffer zone. And if we get close to the danger zone, we just, hey, no out to eat, no spending on things that we we really try to divide between want and need. And that's something that we've gone over, and we've really be home like, do you need this new shirt? No, I don't need it right now. I want one. I don't need it. Okay. Well, we're not at a time of addressing wants right now. We're at a time where we can only address needs. And then let's say some money comes in because we stopped spending for a while and our income is coming back in. Then we can start to do those other things. And we try to plan ahead for vacations. For example, next year we want to go out to Colorado. And so going out to Colorado, we need to really plan at least a year ahead to be able to make that happen. And
Mm-hmm.
I do have a financial planner that I work with and that handles our stocks and everything. When we went in to make our financial plans, he said, "You're the first person I'm not going to write a plan out for." He goes, "It's required for me to do this. I'm not going to." He said, "You're so frugal with your spending that I don't need to make a plan." He goes, "If anything, I'm going to tell you, you need to spend money on your business so we can have tax write-offs. So you're paying your business rather than the government. You're going to pay that money. Might as well get something for yourself in the meantime." So
Mm-hmm.
for me, my budgeting comes down to being frugal. If I don't need it, I usually don't like to spend much money on it. But if my kids want it, if my wife wants it, I do like to to try and splurge a bit on that because I grew up without money. I grew up not having the ability to go on those vacations, not having the ability to have unlimited things like books and all these different things. And so I knew what that was like, but I also it's kind of a tough double-edged sword because I knew how that motivated me. I know how hard I work now because of that. But at the same time, I work hard so I can give my kids all those things. I can give my wife all those things she wants. So I don't track anything. I just simply live by being frugal, and then I live by having a floor of our savings, and I try not to dip into that. And essentially, I just go through and I just try to enjoy life. I try to know that this is a season of our life where our kids are young. It might be more expensive right now, but we are enjoying it. Soccer is getting really expensive with Maddox. We have kind of vowed to say we're not going to put a price tag on opportunities. When he
Yeah, you
gets
can't.
invited, no, man, he gets
Because
specially.
they're fleeting. They're only
Yeah.
here for a little while. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I say the percentage based thing works for me. I think because mentally, I think I'm actually kind of doing the same thing you are. Because one of those buckets is the floor of the buffer that I need to see,
Yep.
right? And being self employed, you need to know that you got 90 days of operating capital if you need it in the bank, right? Something could happen, right? You never know.
Oh yeah.
And so whenever that gets close to it, Wilson's the same way. Chris says he's glad to hear he's not the only one that goes into hermit mode when things get tight.
That's what
And
we
Jill
do.
and I are exactly the same. Like
Yep.
if we get hit by a big tax bill here at the building, and then all of a sudden we have a slow month, and then all of a sudden there's other expenses that pop up. We're like, all right, well, we're not going to brunch every weekend for a little while,
Yep.
and we're cooking dinners at home. Like we're
100%.
bringing sandwiches to the office, and you just sort of it's weird, like doing little shifts. You'd be amazed how you can just stock up money in your bank account when you're not doing the things you normally do. And there's other things that like I've cut out that have definitely made it to where like my percentage little bucket that I can spend whatever I want on, like electric skateboards and stand-up paddle boards and stuff for cars and that kind of thing. That budget is almost always there now because I stopped spending it on stupid stuff that I used to spend it on all the time. Like
Yes.
that's the big thing. Like you and I were talking about it when we were
Yep.
walking around Plymouth.
Yep.
Dan and I are both not the kind of people like when we go somewhere new, the last thing on the list that we want to do is walk around and look in a store.
Never.
I'll tell this completely honestly. I have not enjoyed being in a store unless I was there to get something and I had already researched what it was, if it was in stock, and if I could get it cheaper somewhere else. And I go in there, I get it, and I leave. Like
Same.
I don't like retail stores.
Nope.
I hate malls with a
Same.
passion. You'll never find me walking around a mall. I go to a mall twice a year, and it's usually for Christmas and Jill's birthday because there's a Sephora there and a Lego store. And so that's when you'll find me in a mall.
Yep.
But I'm not a shopper. I don't like doing that. Like, unless I need something, I don't want to be looking at stuff like, oh, well, maybe I just want to go buy something. Like, do I know what it is? Do I need it? No, then I'm not going.
Yep. And I think that is a huge thing is people will, like I said, we do stuff. We would rather have memories than things.
Memories over stuff. 1,000%.
Yep. And I really do believe that, right? We took this trip, but we drove. didn't fly with 5 people. We drove. We stayed at a Marriott hotel on Marriott points, and we didn't pay for that hotel directly. We also went grocery shopping the first day we got there and ate in the hotel as much as we humanly possibly could. And so oftentimes people will criticize me and stuff. They'll say, "Hey man, what you got this grill, you got a camper, you got all these things." I'm like, "Yeah, but do you know what I also don't have? I don't have a weekly bill at the bar. I don't drink. I don't go out. I don't belong to any like uh sports leagues that go out and have food and drinks and stuff afterwards. I don't smoke. I don't have I don't golf. I don't have a motorcycle. I don't have ATVs and motorbikes, and I don't have a boat. I don't have a pool. I don't have all these things that a lot of times people will have those things and they don't even think about it as spending. But then they'll see a trip and they'll say, "Oh man, I'm so jealous you can afford that. I'm so jealous you can do that." I'm like, "Well, what else are you?" I don't drink coffee, right? Which we may talk
Right.
about next week, guys. I don't drink a
Yeah.
coffee every
Coffee
day.
special next week, George.
So all of these things are very expensive when you do them on a regular basis, but a lot of people put them on a side of their brain where it doesn't count as spending for them. But when
You're
they see
dead
these,
on.
yeah, they see these extracurricular things like, "Dan, I wish I could afford that." And I'm like, cut that out. Let me just go to your Instagram real quick. Cut that out, cut that out, cut that out. Guess what? You now can afford it. I don't spend money on those things, and it allows me to put that money elsewhere.
Dude, because there's people that like I have friends that are literally complaining about being broke and can't do this, can't do that, but they smoke cigarettes and they drink coffee
Yep.
and energy drinks. And like
Yep.
I did the math like with a friend of mine, and you're looking in Massachusetts, if you smoke a pack a day, that's like $3,600 a year in
Ooh,
cigarettes.
that's a
And
vacation.
then yeah, and then you add on about half that again for coffee, right? Like $5 or so a day if you buy it out and you don't just make stuff at your home, which is better and way less expensive and probably better for you in the long run. You know, you're looking at least 5 grand a year that they spend on just coffee and cigarettes. And
Mhm.
then you combine that with the other dumb stuff, like, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, you're spending 10 grand a year without even noticing it. Like, go audit your credit card and look at the trial memberships you forgot to cancel if you need some
Yeah,
money.
right.
Like, I did that. And I literally, with Jill, I found subscriptions I wasn't using and trial memberships I forgot to cancel. And I was disgusted. I went back and looked, and there was some of them that were running for like 2 years and I didn't know it. And I think I saved like almost $2,800 a year in stupid stuff that I forgot was on like an
Yeah.
auto pay subscription from like an app store or other stuff.
Mhm.
That's grand a year.
Yep. We don't have cable. We don't watch TV. We don't go out and buy video games. We don't have a video game console. Like all of these things that are often considered normal, I don't prioritize. I just prioritize the other things, and I just kind of have a visual stage, right, of my platform with a lot of people seeing. And so people make these assumptions like, "No, I'm sacrificing everywhere else." You can't see the last time I've bought clothes because I don't. I wear the same clothes for like 10 years, and it's
Yeah,
just not a
dude.
priority to me. And so yeah, that would be kind of my summary on budgeting. I
Yeah.
prioritize where I want to spend it. When times get tough, we completely hunker down. And like you said, you'd be shocked at not spending money for 2 weeks, how much you can build up, because it's pretty wild how much you can go on a daily, on a day-to-day basis of a restaurant, of this, of that. And so that's my main approach. I balance trying to live my life in the moment, but also set myself up in the future and not put myself in a bad spot.
Dude, like we'll talk about, I feel like coffee actually is a great segue into from budgeting for next
Yeah.
week, because like the stupid little thing I figured out is I was drinking a nitro cold brew from a place down the road
Oh yeah.
every day, and they're $6, right? So it's like 6 times, you know, call it what, wasn't 365 days a year, just call it 300 days a year, right? I mean, that's $1,800
Yeah.
a year. And so now I make cold brew at home, and I make it 5 gallons at a time, 3 gallons at a time. Sorry. I do 3 gallons at a time. It lives in my kegerator, and I pour it off in the morning. Jill does the same thing. And per cup of like awesome nitro cold brew, I think it ends up costing us about 50 cents a cup.
Yep.
And if that, and I mean, versus $6, it's like, hell, man, there's little ways to shave things off. I think doing things yourself really helps. You know, you find things you like and figure out ways to just replicate it and do it in bulk yourself. And
Yep.
that like I mean, that removes lots of challenges.
Truly, truly. So hopefully that was just a little bit of food for thought, perspective for you guys. Nobody's saying anybody's wrong. No one's saying our way is right. We were just asked by someone that watches this show that wanted us to give our take, and that's kind of our thoughts on budgeting.
That's it.
And now you got everyone worked up on nitro and coffee and stuff. Hey, next week, we're going to make it official right now. Next week's show is going to be all about coffee. I'm going to be a learner. I'm going to be listening to you guys. Nick's going to be sharing. You guys are going to be sharing. We definitely have some experts in the audience, so you guys
We
will get
do.
a platform to speak on it.
And I'm also going to come equipped next week, and we'll make it. I don't know what we'll do, Dan. Maybe we'll make the spread. Maybe we'll make like a PDF or a spreadsheet and make it available with like a Dropbox link.
Okay.
I want to share an equipment list, like the individual Amazon items that I used to
Oh,
build
cool.
like a nitro cold brew setup, and like what you need for a nitro tank, what you need for a regulator, what you need for a keg, what you need for a brew bucket, what I use for espresso, a grinder, a maker, what I use when I'm on the road for espresso, when I'm traveling. And then throw out some links and some equipment and some recommendations. And that way, everyone, if they
Yeah.
want to do whatever, they like and they hear it and they haven't done it before, they'll have like a whole step-by-step guide of how to go do it themselves if they want.
Perfect. Yeah. Any like Google Doc with a link that I can share in the chat will work.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. I'll get those links together for you guys this week, and
Cool.
we'll share that next week.
Yeah. Oh, nice. G Squared said, "Whoa, Nick, you're getting me excited."
Oh, dude, G Squared. This one's literally for you, dude. Like, I feel like, you know what I almost want to do? Shoot me an email, G Squared. I'd love to jump on the phone with you this week. I think I'd like to kind of get your thoughts on a couple of things actually before this one. You're like one of the main motivations for this next stream, because you and I always go on tangents about coffee. So
Yeah.
shoot me an email. Let's maybe jump on the phone between now and the end of the week or something.
That'd be cool. Super cool. Awesome, man. Well, I'll give a quick sign off and then kick it to Nick. 4th of July, you guys have some fun first and foremost. Take your mind off of whatever's going on in life. I got a long list of work things I need to do after a week of vacation. I'm going to do my best to set that aside for the afternoon and evening. It's eating me right now, but I'm literally telling myself, let me set that aside. I got the kids, got the family. I hope that you guys can do the same. And above all, other than that, stay safe today.
That's it, man. I hope to see everyone next week with all of their fingers and toes. So let's make sure we do that first and foremost, and have fun. Have an awesome rest of the 4th, guys, and most importantly, thank you for taking some time out from the 4th to come hang out here with us, man. This was fantastic. We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys next week. Talk about some coffee.
All right.